Let's get started. I'm Catherine Luckner. Most of you know us all up here, I think, by now. And we've been having a busy time of it. And we're trying to do some recording so that we have additional YouTube. So you can log into the YouTube channel that we have now, and you can then play these things at another time. And we discovered one session we had, it didn't work because we were using the wrong microphone. So we were trying to capture all the brilliant things we're going to say tonight. Just make sure we don't miss anything. All right, so we start out usually, welcome everybody. We start out usually with Sergeant Smith. Come on up here, and I'm going to give you the microphone and say brilliant things.
Well,
absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay.
It's always nice to be here. Wasn't nervous until I got up here and realized I might have to start doing some math. I'm going to take my shoes off before counting that. But I am Sergeant Arik Smith. I've been out here for a few years now as the supervisor of SKA. I'm also the supervisor of our mounted patrol unit. If you've ever seen the horses out here, I'm in charge of that as well. But every month I like to come, and it's nice to be back here in person because we've been doing it over Zoom for so long. And sometimes I can get my computer to work, and sometimes I can't. But it has helped where schedule has conflicted, and I've been able to do it from my car instead of off location instead of having to be here. But every month we just give a little brief synopsis of the what's been going on as far as the sheriff's office is concerned out here in Siesta Key. And for the month of October, from October 1 to the 31st, we had about 352, not about exactly 352 calls for service. Those calls are broken up in between the four guys and myself that we have out here who wear the white shirts and usually see us riding around the four-wheelers or in our cars. Broken up between us 4 or 5, and also the patrol zones that we have out here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as well. Out of those 352 calls, 24 of them, sorry, I don't want to trip on this board here. 24 of them are what we consider persons or property crimes. And we usually hover around the 6% mark out here on the Key, which is fairly good. It's good for this size community. I've said it before, there's a great community out here. We are lucky in that fact, and we kind of get sheltered from a lot of the crimes that go on in other places that see the same amount of people, or close to the same amount of people that are coming here from out of town and out of state and visiting and tourism and everything like that. So we do a pretty good job out here, I think, as a whole, not necessarily just the sheriff's office, but as a community, and keeping track of our things, looking out for one another, and doing a good job of that. Out of those 24 calls, we break it down into a little more simple, and we can explain what calls were what.
Like, there's no video.
You're doing it without video. Did you want video?
I don't want to be seen.
Nobody wants to be seen.
All right.
You want to be heard?
You got to be heard too, guys. Mute. Please mute. We'll get a chance to see you later.
Sorry about that.
Well, I'll try my best. So we had the biggest, almost 50% of what made up those 24 calls were thefts out here on the Key. And some of those can be prevented. I say that all the time: lock your cars, hide your valuables, keep track of the things that you want to keep. We get so many calls and crimes of what we call crimes of opportunity, where it's just too easy for people to walk up and take something of yours because you left it unsecured, you're sitting outside, nobody's around, nobody's paying attention to it. People literally, the transit nature of people coming and going from this place, it's just too easy sometimes for people to pick things up and leave. But with the thefts, I got a couple notes down here. We had 4 vehicle burglaries involved with that. 2 of them were unlocked. 1 was locked, but they left the key in the gas tank. And the 3rd one was locked, but the rear passenger, I think it was the rear passenger window was broken out, and they just had like a bag up there to protect it from the weather. So out of the 4, you could say that maybe 3 of them were kind of secured, but not really secured. So yeah, just take the time, lock your cars, keep your keys with you. Just a simple act like that can prevent you from being a victim. The other thefts we had were, I think one was to a house under construction. Somebody was left unsecured, left the tools in there. Somebody walked in, took the tools. One was, I think, a paddle board that somebody left sitting outside their house overnight and didn't have it secured, didn't put it away. Somebody drove by, picked it up and left. So those are those crimes of opportunities that with just a little more effort, and a little more vigilance to keeping track of your things, we can help prevent from being a victim and keep those numbers down and keep this the great community that we have. With that being said, I'll open it up. Anybody has any questions? I'd be happy to try to answer anything you got. Yes, ma'am.
Are the 352 also to the non-emergency line as well? It's both.
Yes, ma'am. That's both.
That would be like people calling about parking violations and stuff.
Yeah. Anytime there's a call for service is what we have it as. So anytime that you call the sheriff's office and you're asking for a service that we provide, whether it be illegal parking, a noise disturbance, a fight, a burglary, whatever it is, and a deputy gets sent out to that call, it tracks it as a call for service in our system. And it goes down. We keep track of that date, time, location, and then the deputies always put in little notes or something, some comments about what happened and what that call was
I
about.
do have a question about that, if I may.
Sure.
Because I live on Avenue de Mayo. I've been there 33 years. And, the corner with the two big houses and hotel houses on there. They consistently violate the parking. They block the sidewalks. They have more than 4 cars parked there. You're only allowed to have 4 at a residence, according to the ordinance. And I've even talked to some of the representatives from the sheriff's department. They said they don't want to give them tickets because they won't come back. I didn't come into that.
I can tell you from our perspective out here, that's not something that we, of course, we're concerned with business and the tourism and everything and people coming out here and enjoying the beautiful Siesta Key. But we're not going to say we're not doing it because we don't want somebody to come. That's not the guys that work for me and the guys that work under me, but that's not how we handle it. Will we knock on the door and try to give them an opportunity to rectify what's going on before we write them a citation? Yeah, that will probably happen. Yeah.
They park on the right of way.
But if it consistently happens, then, we have.
It's dangerous because, people have to walk on the road.
Yeah. If you see it, call us. We'll be more than happy to come out, yeah.
It took me 2 years to get those no parking signs on that street.
We worked very hard on that.
Did you have a question, sir? So for the people, I don't know if everybody heard that on Zoom, but the question was if we're getting a lot of calls or any calls for trespassing on private beaches. And the answer is yes. We do get a lot of calls for that. And it's quite the educational process. When I first took over out here, I had no idea what the high water line was. So it takes some research and some education to kind of educate the public on that as well. Because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people coming from other states have different laws and different rules, and they'll sit there and tell us to our face you can't kick me off here. This is a beach. Nobody can on the beach. And I have to explain to them, yeah, this is private property. In the state of Florida, we have private property laws, and we do our best to protect that. We're here to protect homeowners and property owners, and just as well as the rights as everybody else coming out here. So the answer to your question is short. Yeah, we do get a lot of calls for it, and we try to educate people as best we can. That's your hand over here. Nope. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. I'm so glad to be able to be here in person. And if you have any other questions that come up afterwards, get with Catherine and you can have it.
Thank you. This is part of their monthly, it's called Intelligence to Action. So it's seeing what's happening and then finding a way to.
I apologize. I left the second page.
Okay. Just don't stick it under my windshield wiper. I think I'm in trouble.
If you'd like, I can email the whole thing.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Oh, yes, sir.
Are you getting any reports of theft parcels that have my buyer as well?
Yes. I think we actually, that was one of the thefts that were in this past month. We had one parcel stolen. And that's a nationwide problem, probably a more worldwide problem, but it happens. People aren't home during the day, they get a parcel delivered, and in cases around other areas, we've noticed that people will follow the UPS or the Amazon truck around. It's literally wait for them to stop and go. So if you have an option to leave a note, have them put it over the fence or, hide it behind a bush or try to do whatever you can to try to secure that or try to have somebody home when it gets.
They sent you a picture of that.
Yes. Yeah, the rain. I got one installed in my house just for that simple. So thank you guys very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.